Caught on something over here?
Okay, now it's on, yeah.
It's not, yeah, it's not, but it's caught over here on the corner. Pull it from the corner. I don't want to. There you go. Let's see. Okay. But you said they couldn't hear?
Okay, I can see if there's. Now there's movement.
Wait a minute, how can it be moving? Look.
Or maybe it's coming from here.
Let me go redo it over there. Yeah. Microphone, and it's not picking up. I think that's what the problem is. Let it go back in and look at it.
Block of Choctaw Drive to break up a group of people drag racing. A spokesman said Sunday after the cars were cleared, the officers were sitting in their vehicles when one of them heard something hit his car at about 11 p.m. The bullet had pierced the car's front fender on the driver's side, but the officer was not injured. The officers did not hear the gunshot go off. They canvassed the area soon after, but could not find out who shot at the car. This is the second time a Baton Rouge Police Department unit has been shot at in the last 30 days. On May 21st, a bullet shattered a police car's window on Bard Avenue. Among many allegations he dropped just before resigning from the Baton Rouge Police Department, Jeremiah Ardoin accused some longtime narcotics detectives of joking about the 2013 death of an unarmed black man after a violent struggle with officers. The incident, which the detectives dubbed as the Flag Street Massacre, became an inside joke, according to Ardoin, ex-cop, with first-hand knowledge of what happened that evening on Flag Street. He claims his claims about widespread misconduct within the narcotics unit, however, prompted a corruption probe that remains ongoing. Authorities and authorities said Dump Runner Robinson died from choking on a bag of crack cocaine, which he ate right after the confrontation with police. His wife later filed a wrongful death lawsuit claiming officers beat Robinson so viciously he was unable to completely swallow the bag, which lodged in his throat. An Alexander man has been accused of attempting to take a woman's purse in the 2200 block of MacArthur Drive on Friday. 40-year-old Clenard Earl Simmons has been charged with attempted armed robbery as a result, according to APD. APD's report says it happened around 9:30 in the morning. Simmons allegedly approached a woman and demanded her purse several times, even flashing a gun. As a threat, the report states that a witness saw this happening and pulled his vehicle between the two, which led to Simmons fleeing. Louisiana saw the lowest number of people died from COVID-19 in April and May, but in 80 other months since, the disease began tearing through the state. But despite the recent lull in severe cases, health experts fear low vaccination rates make the state vulnerable to yet another spike in cases. The state has hit a wall with getting shots into arms, and the number of people being hospitalized for COVID-19 has remained fairly flat, albeit historically low for the past several weeks, according to the Department of Health figures. Meanwhile, more infectious variants of the virus are spreading in parts of the country and appear to also affect the unvaccinated far more severely than the initial version of the virus that gripped the state last year. The height of whatever future spike in cases Louisiana will experience largely depends on the number of people who are vaccinated when cases begin to rise, as they typically do with any virus. That, according to Dr. Catherine O'Neill, Chief Medical Officer at Our Lady of the Lake Regional Medical Center. It was the type of session we are used to seeing here in Louisiana. Typically, there's a lot of debate over money. It was a relatively calm final day at the Capitol after a long 9-week session that spent a large amount of coronavirus money, refigured the state's tax structure, and had most all the debates on financial issues shoved aside as lawmakers found themselves arguing over social issues more than anything else. Among the social issues, lawmakers sent bills to expand the use of Louisiana's medical marijuana program and no jail time for possession of small amounts of recreational use to the governor, but they fell short of legalizing pot altogether. And if the governor agrees, beginning next year, women will no longer pay state sales taxes on feminine hygiene products or diapers. The House and Senate also agreed to continue the earned income tax credit, a tax break that helps low-income families. In the final hours of the session, lawmakers passed a bill that would prohibit government agencies from refusing to issue licenses, permits, and degrees of barring access to public facilities to someone who hasn't received the COVID-19 vaccine until any of the vaccines have been officially approved by the FDA. Bare-knuckle fights over taxes, gambling, and what schools should teach have ended with the conclusion of the 80-day legislative session. The circus has left Baton Rouge. But another way, one is on the way. When lawmakers return down the road, they will have a single focus: to redraw boundaries for the State House, the State Senate, the U.S. House of Representatives, the Louisiana Supreme Court, the Public Service Commission, the Board of Elementary and Secondary Education, and State Appeals Court. This once-in-a-decade task will have enormous consequences because the lines that lawmakers draw will shape Louisiana's legislative and judicial politics for the coming years. It's a process driven by demographic changes, state and federal law, and raw politics. Most lawmakers will emerge smiling, their political futures assured, but others will be cast out of a winnable district and feel like they've been knifed in the back. Self-interest and political survival typically trump loyalty to party and friends. Out of Lake Charles, Deidre Carmen stills herself before she opens the door, telling herself not to be afraid. Tears roll down her cheeks when she begins to step inside. Her house is dim and gutted. Water marks roughly knee-high are visible on the outside walls. Containers of personal belongings in the laundry room are still soaked, including the holding ceramic angel given to her by her mother, wrapped in disposable diapers to keep them from breaking. Said the 64-year-old woman who has lived in the Greenwich Terrace neighborhood of storm-battered Lake Charles since 1978 and has endured repeated flooding in recent years. I'm mentally and emotionally drained. I'm ready to go, whether they buy it or not. Like others in the neighborhood, Carmen may soon be eligible for a voluntary buyout of her house, despite her long ties to the area and the affection for the place where she raised her 3 children. She's become exasperated and would be ready to take the money and leave. Others aren't so sure, though, but no matter their feelings on it, a common sentiment runs through the largely African-American neighborhood. The situation should never have come to this, and many believe drainage would have been improved sooner in a wealthier part of town. An outside evaluator is urging the rejection of 3 latest applicants seeking to open new charter schools in Baton Rouge, including 2 applicants recommended by a prominent charter school booster organization that has historically gotten its way on this contentious issue. The evaluator had different concerns with different schools, which combined could end up serving more than 7,000 students. She worried that they won't serve enough low-income students, don't bring anything new to the school system, or don't have a track record of academic success. In years past, the recommendations of the outside evaluator and school's chief have, with rare exception, been the same. But it's unclear if new Superintendent Cito Narcisse agrees with the outside expert. A spokeswoman for the East Baton Rouge Parish School System said Narcisse has yet to offer his own recommendations, is not legally required to give one, and no school board member as yet has requested that he do so. Long before Brittany Matthews was recognized as a dream teacher, the Zachary High alum and her high school sweetheart were living the dream, attaining well-sought-after skills and returning to their beloved hometown to invest in its future. Matthews, an English teacher, has been named a finalist for the Louisiana Teacher of the Year distinction. The Matthews lived and worked in Virginia as starting professionals, but Zachary was home and soon became a destination. Zachary never became foreign to the Matthews. Both of their families were in the city, and they spent every holiday home. In the spring semester of 2017, a job in the private sector brought Matthews back to Louisiana. We wish her well. Louisiana is feeling the summer heat, and did so this weekend as many cities experienced what felt like at least 100-degree weather. current heat indices, or the feels-like temperature is what it feels like to the human body when humidity is combined with the air temperature. The National Weather Service out of New Orleans reported indices across the state as of 2 p.m. Sunday, many of which were well above 100 degrees. Several ranged from 105 to 108 degrees. A heat index of 105 were reported at the Lakefront Airport, 108 at New Orleans NAS, and 101 at Baton Rouge Metro Ryan Field. And finally, a typical disturbance in the Gulf of Mexico now has a 50% chance of developing into a depression late this week. Hurricane forecasters said in a 7 a.m. Sunday tropical outlook. It's not yet clear if the system will make a threat to Louisiana. The trough of low pressure continued to produce clouds and showers over the Bay of Campeche in the southern Gulf on Sunday. Forecasters said this trough could develop slowly over the next several days, becoming a tropical depression late in the week. The next available storm name of the hurricane season is Bill. I'm Tony Brown. That's your statewide news you can use on this Mellow Monday. Have a safe and a blessed day.
Hey y'all, spring is here and you're ready to get out and celebrate. Here's what's happening around the state. June 3rd through 5th, clubs and bands in Kickapoo. June 4th through 6th, Blind Lounge and Games, and Sicilian Heritage Festival in Independence. June 5th, the Peach Festival in Ruston, and Cajun Country Jam in Gonzales. So make your plans to laissez le bon temps rouler. This is Lieutenant Governor Billy Gesser. Plan your road trip at LouisianaIsATrip.com.
We're back right here in your premier morning news magazine. Let's go down south to meteorologist Alex Donato with the National Weather Service out of Lake Charles for the very latest. Hey Alex, how you doing today?
Hi, good.
Man, it was hot over the weekend, and it's my understanding, according to the weather report that I'm seeing nationally, we're talking about possible record heat temperatures in places like Nevada, Arizona. I mean, temperatures I've never even heard of speaking out of my mouth. 125, 128. Is that crazy or what?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So what part of that are we going to see here in Louisiana? As I saw many places this past weekend in Louisiana reach 100 plus temperatures.
Yeah, so we are looking at highs today and tomorrow in the mid-90s throughout central Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have that onshore flow, and as a result, we're going to be getting, lower humidity, which is allowing those temperatures to rise. Heat index values could be as high as 106, and we are expecting a possible chance of showers and thunderstorms as well.
So it's still going to be that hot, higher temperatures, even with maybe a little water or precipitation cooling us off?
Yeah. So if storms do occur, that would bring down temperatures, but otherwise we're looking at partly cloudy skies, and those temperatures are going to rise.
Well, there's a tropical disturbance in the southern Gulf of Mexico right now. What's the chances of it developing into something even worse?
Yeah, so the National Hurricane Center recently put out their 8 a.m. tropical weather outlook,
Mm-hmm.
and there's currently a 60% chance of this disturbance forming and heading toward the northern Gulf. So there is a chance that, we could be getting a tropical system by the weekend.
Now, this coming weekend, of course, if it develops with that warm weather, which is more likely will, it could turn into the next named storm, which would be Hurricane Bill. Am I right in saying that, Alex?
Yeah, it is possible that it could become the next tropical system.
Okay, thanks a lot, Alex. We'll hope it doesn't happen. We'll hope that people take the necessary precautions with these heat indices upwards of 100 degrees. Certainly, if you don't want to be outside in the warmest part of the day, 11 a.m., I'll say 3 p.m., don't do it. If you have elderly people and loved ones, you definitely want to make sure that they're not out doing something foolish like trying to move the lawn and hide. Many people, I've seen do that, get into trouble with heat stroke. So let's just make sure that we take care of each other. Thanks a lot, Alex. We appreciate the forecast.
Yeah, sure, not a problem.
All right, Alpha Lima, meteorologist with the National Weather Service under Lake Charles. It's going to be hot all week, folks, so again, check on those loved ones and tell them to stay indoors if at all possible. I live in this time, 57 minutes past, 57 minutes past. I'm going to go over some of this national news real quick. I'm just going to read just maybe the first right here, and we'll save the rest for the 7:40 time slot. At least 8 people were hospitalized after a car plowed into a crowd at a road racing event in Texas on Sunday night. 3 people are in critical condition this morning, and 5 others suffered non-life-threatening injuries, according to the El Paso County Sheriff's Office. The preliminary investigation revealed one of the vehicles, due to unknown reasons, left the road track, striking and breaking through a guardrail. The vehicle also struck 3 other vehicles in the initial crash. Roberto Tovo, who captured the video of the moment the vehicle lost control and veered into the crowd told CNN he was okay following the heart-stopping experience. Do we have the pictures of the video, Q? Is that just the reader? Oh, shoot. Man, I really want to see the video. So, this video, people can be heard screaming as the vehicle begins to fishtail and strike a cone before the video goes dark. Another video of the immediate aftermath of the incident shows what appears to be a white pickup truck underneath spectator tents. Your producer time is 59 minutes past the hour. 59 minutes past the hour. Good morning.
Open with Tony Brown on FM 107.5, The Vibe, and 1110 AM, KGTP, Alexandria Pineville.
Hello, Sinlaw. I'm Dr. Kelvin Spears, Chief Medical Officer of Alexandria Emergency Hospital, located at 5900 Coliseum Boulevard, next to Wendy's. Our mission at Alexandria Emergency Hospital is to provide our patients, both adults and children, with the best possible healthcare experience, with short wait times and a relaxing environment. Alexandria Emergency Hospital is open 24/7, 365. We have board-certified doctors available for expert pediatric and adult care for both inpatient and ER services. We can provide outpatient services like MRI, X-ray, ultrasound, and CT scans. We have a clinical lab and on-site pharmacy and can facilitate inpatient stays through our state-of-the-art hospital rooms. For more information about our services, you can give us a call at 318-386-8110. That's 318-386-8110. Or visit us online at www.alexandriaer.com. Again, I'm Dr. Kelvin Spears, and remember, for all your emergency needs, come see us at Alexandria Emergency Hospital, your hometown ER and hospital.
Eye-catching elegance, compelling styles, luxurious comfort. These are the features you look for in your furniture. At Trotters, it's what we're all about. And choosing your look gets easier with our design consultants, Molly Hunt and Rebecca Smith. Trotters has 2 stories and over 20,000 square feet of Central Louisiana's most sought-after furniture. And it's all available with 24 months no-interest financing. Your home is your favorite place. Love it even more with new furniture because everything's better when you get it from Trotters.
Hi, this is Bianca Brown, the Mobile Scentsy Lady. Are you looking for a dream job? Well, you need to give me a call today. I'm looking for new recruits to join my team of Scentsy consultants. Join Scentsy today and get your starter kit for only $99 plus shipping and tax. Benefits include additional income, flexibility, incredible friendships, world-class training, recognition, personal growth, discounts on amazing Scentsy products, and the opportunity to earn fabulous incentive trips around the world, like the all-expense-paid trip I earned to Cancun, Mexico. Interested in joining Scentsy? Give me a call today at 318-618-1832. That's 318-618-1832. Please refer to my website, lapeacefulsense.scentsy.us, for our income disclosure statement.
Hey y'all, spring is here and you're ready to get out and celebrate. Here's what's happening around the state. June 3rd through 5th, Bugs and Bands in Kickapoo. June 4th through 6th, Carnage and Games and Sicilian Heritage Festival in Independence. June 5th, the Peach Festival in Ruston and Cajun Country Jam in Gonzales. So make your plans to laissez les bon temps rouler. This is Lieutenant Governor Bill Lancaster. Plan your road trip at LouisianaIsATrip.com.
As you produce time. 3 minutes past the hour on this Mellow Monday. You got a birthday, you got an anniversary, you got a request. How we sound over the cue? Can you hear sound now? Can you hear us? I'm sorry? Oh, okay. I mean, is it the meter moving? Okay, the meter moving, which is... Remember, call us up and you can hear us, sweetie. We're trying to get that audio fixed for you. Phone lines open at 318-483-9977. This is lines open in this movie. Monday, FM 107.5, Divide, 11 a.m. KTTP. Good morning.
Feelings can't explain what happened all this time. My heart still feels bad when I look at you. Memory love like no one before. You stay on my mind. When I think about you, my feelings can't explain why after all this time, my heart still feels bad. When I look at you, we're always in love, like no one before. It's me on my mind, feeling so special. Make all we do, it's on my mind. Girl, you know me, you can be mine. There's never any question. You will be my Saturday love.
Sometimes things just don't work. Life goes on other days, before. It's sad that things are so and I hope it will change. For always and forever, you will be mine. You will be mine. You will be mine.
Rapides Primary Healthcare Center is your federally qualified community healthcare center and is located at 1217 Willow Glen River Road in Alexandria. They are now accepting new patients. Are you tired of spending long hours in hospital emergency rooms waiting to receive non-critical healthcare services? Do you need affordable medical, dental, and mental health care? Do you need quality health care for you and your baby for prenatal, during pregnancy, and up until adulthood? Do you need to sign your family up for the Affordable Care Act or Medicaid? Then look no further than Rapides Primary Healthcare Center. It is the affordable, timely answer to all your family's health care needs. All services are available to anyone regardless of their ability to pay. You or your family will never be turned away. Rapides Primary is certified kid med site with a sliding fee scale. Payment is based on income and size of family. Medicaid, Medicare, and most commercial insurance are accepted for medical services. For appointments and information on all medical services, including Obamacare and Medicaid, call 318-487-4400. That's 318-487-4400. Rapides Primary Healthcare Center, a new beginning in quality health care and a proud impact partner of the Eyes Open Radio Network.
Hello, Sinlaw. I'm Dr. Kelvin Spears, Chief Medical Officer of Alexandria Emergency Hospital, located at 5900 Coliseum Boulevard, next to Wendy's. Our mission at Alexandria Emergency Hospital is to provide our patients, both adults and children, with the best possible healthcare experience, with short wait times and a relaxing environment. Alexandria Emergency Hospital is open 24/7, 365. We have board-certified doctors available for expert pediatric and adult care for both inpatient and ER services. We can provide outpatient services like MRI, X-ray, ultrasound, and CT scans. We have a clinical lab and on-site pharmacy and can facilitate inpatient stays through our state-of-the-art hospital rooms. For more information about our services, you can give us a call at 318-386-8110. That's 318-386-8110. Or visit us online at www.alexandriaer.com. Again, I'm Dr. Kelvin Spears, and remember, for all your emergency needs, come see us at Alexandria Emergency Hospital, your hometown ER and hospital.
Hi, I'm Alicia Evans, City News Manager for the Drum newspaper in Ponchatoula and Baton Rouge. My job is to make sure your stories get told. I make sure you know what's happening in your community. Whether that's exciting, informative, or just entertainment, your news matters at the Drum. But we can't do it all alone, and no one knows the community better than you. That's why I'm asking you to share your stories with me. At the Drum, we believe a community that is informed is a strong one. So if you've got important news, witty insight, upcoming events, or even a wedding announcement, call me at 225-927-3717 or email me news to news@thedrumnewspaper.info. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter today as we report your news.
Hi, this is Dolores with Robinson Family Mortuary. The COVID-19 pandemic has been devastating to our community, and we have served numerous families affected by it. Planning a funeral is difficult, but a sudden loss during this pandemic can be even more stressful. Robinson Family Mortuary can help ease your stress and serves all of Central Louisiana, including Natchitoches, Oakdale, Marksville, Leesville, Fort Polk, and most every parish in the entire state. The newly renovated Robinson Family Mortuary is located at 1815 Military Highway in Pineville, and we can be reached anytime by calling 318-442-7300. That's 318-442-7300, or visit us online at robinsonfm.com. Robinson Family Mortuary, without delay, can arrange for a traditional funeral service, cremation, ship in or ship out, including military. We accept all assignable and verifiable life insurance policies. With just one call to 318-442-7300, all of your homegoing needs can be taken care of at our newly remodeled Robinson Family Mortuary. Robinson Family Mortuary, a family serving families.
Sweat. Saturday, June 26th at 8 p.m. Paragon Casino Resort. Tickets on sale now and start at $29 and can be purchased at Ticketmaster.com. heat and sweat. Saturday, June 26th at 8 p.m. Paragon Casino Resort.
This past weekend, Saturday, in fact, was National Marriage Day. It was National Marriage Day, so just putting it in the air. Didn't give me a heads up that Father's Day is coming up this Sunday. So, with that said, hey Doc, how you doing this morning?
Doing well, yourself?
I'm doing fine. You know, in honor of the National Marriage Day, I told my wife, you should learn how to embrace your mistakes. You know what you did? Doc, you know what you did?
Oh, yeah, I'm listening.
She hugged me.
Nice.
Anyway, I thought I'd throw that joke in you. So, with that said, Doc, let's talk a little bit about this Delta variant that has ravaged India. Its specific target is people who haven't been vaccinated.
Yes. Well, it is Delta. Of course, there's Alpha, Beta, Gamma. Delta now. But this last one, the Indian variant, the Delta variant, is very, very communicable. It just jumps very easily from person to person. And it might not be dealt with, but it's certainly more infectious.
Okay, and what's problematic about that is that I think I heard that there are at least only 15 states in this country that haven't reached more than 50% vaccination rate, and of course, Louisiana is right there in the thick of that, of those states.
Yeah, this has been that's a very disappointing reality, but it's a reality that's true across the whole South. So, anyway, the problem is the variant now is like 3% of current infections that they're detecting.
Mm-hmm.
But when this happened with the Alpha variant some months ago, it went from 3% to 35% in about 4 weeks.
Wow. How do we mitigate what's going on here in those 15 states that I just talked about? All of them are in the South. All of them, with the exception of Louisiana, has a Republican governor. So there seems to be almost a political connection to the low vaccination rates, even among evangelical Christians, even among Southern Baptists.
Well, I think it's, I'm not exact. I think the politics are just a reflection of the way that people think and the way that people act. And if you look at maps of other problems, it stretches in the same way. It can be obesity, it can be infant mortality, it can be maternal mortality. It's just, there is, the Southern tier in the United States, in some respects, is sometimes locked in a time warp.
Yeah.
And it reflects in its politics, in its health outcomes, and it's really sad because there's nothing inevitable about it.
But the question still remains, how do we fix it? Is it fixable? Because, when people are in over 50, many of them are hardwired, whether it be politically, whether it be their scientific ideologies, and then the sheer embrace of non-factual information. They'd rather believe what the far right or Donald Trump has to say about something as opposed to a Dr. Fauci. I don't get that.
Well, I think it's a sociological phenomena that's a little bit broader than just COVID.
Yeah.
All health problems are exacerbated by social problems. And when you have the southern states that just they have significant African American populations that have been disenfranchised for 160 years, and so you have these chronic health problems. And then on the other thing, you don't. Both sides of the debate are going to suffer if there's problems, and so you have resistance on one side and you have neglect on the other, and perhaps a poor understanding. But the bottom line is that it's reflected in poor adherence to preventive measures. Because preventive measures you have to think about. You have to think ahead, and you have to think, what is this going to do to me in the future? What is this going to do to our society in the future?
Mm-hmm.
And that you have to have a certain degree of conceptualization. And that is just sometimes a problem.
Speaking of looking down in the future, today the Delta, the variant that came out of India, as it pertains to COVID-19, is affecting about 10% of the population. They're saying come this fall, we could see a possibly huge wave of non-vaccinated people, and those numbers going drastically up. Would you agree with that assessment in those states that haven't reached not even halfway point for vaccinations?
Oh, yeah. This is going to reach 90% in the not very distant future. Now, whether it'll take 6 weeks or 10 or 2 months or whatever, a variant which is more communicable will dominate the pathological landscape just given enough time and enough unvaccinated people.
Yeah, and right now, statewide, what is our percentage in vaccination numbers?
Well, it's probably around 30. Statewide, it's over 30. But regionally, it's less than 25.
Oh my God.
And in some of our parishes, there's as low as 14.
Oh my God.
So
that's crazy.
We've got a heck of a long way to go. And I heard in the news that the Seattle school system had announced that they had vaccinated 70% of their 12 to 17-year-olds.
Wow. Good for
70% of their kids are now vaccinated in Seattle.
Wow. And then when you hear that even places like San Francisco have already reached herd immunity status, or with the percentage of adults that they have vaccinated. I mean, it seems like the West Coast is getting a memo, while the southern belt down here in the South, where men are men, and good old boys rule, we still have a problem. And from a political standpoint, is the lack of lawmakers in those capitals who are stressing, but while they're getting the vaccination themselves, they're not stressing to the constituency to get the vaccine.
Well, I think it's part of the problem, but like we were saying earlier, it's a broader, long-term sociological phenomena, and it has to do with lower educational levels, lower incomes, lower social status in significant numbers of the population, and all of that translates into poor health. It doesn't matter if it's diabetic control or hypertension or strokes or cancer. When you have a reservoir, a large group of your population that is not educated, that is doesn't have sufficient incomes, and is a lower social status, then those folks are going to have poor health outcomes, irregardless of what criteria you're using. And it's reflected in COVID very, very cruelly.
Yeah, and they're passing that same ideology, or if not, obviously they control their children. So are we going to see that crossover to children and grandchildren of these folk who are just held against? 2/3 of them here in the state of Louisiana who absolutely will not get the vaccine right now until the FDA clears it for what you call a manual approval.
Yeah. Yeah, the parents ultimately control the behavior of the children, and if the parents are committed, then you're going to have something like Seattle that has 70% of their kids vaccinated.
Yeah.
I mean, they set up vaccination stations in the schools, and they said, parents bring their kids, and the parents brought their kids.
Wow. As opposed to...
Now, what's going to happen, unfortunately, is when the mandate was lifted, it's going to mean that every school district is going to be able to determine its own policies.
Mm-hmm.
And there are going to be school districts that eliminate masking and social distancing. And it's going to occur simultaneously with the arrival and propagation of a variant. So, a bad combination.
Very bad combination. Well, let's wrap it up this morning with you guys going to be out there Wednesday. The vaccination the vaccine is still available almost in any place, any pharmacy, any store. I mean, you can go into big box stores and get it at their pharmacies. Albertsons, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS. They still over at Rampage Primary. They still get it at the Coliseum every Wednesday, although reduced hours. Correct?
Yeah, from 9 to 1. And we are still doing about 100 shots, but it's a far cry from doing 500 or 600 we did in the beginning of March.
Yeah. And nationwide, for the first time, we have only about 1 million shots being administered every day. Those are dismal numbers when you look at, in retrospect, how huge the country is.
Yeah, it baffles me. I do understand it, but it grieves me that we're not doing what we need to protect ourselves and our society.
Absolutely. Doc, always a pleasure. Thank you for the update, my friend, and good luck this week.
Okay, you too. I am off Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, so...
I'll leave you alone. Okay. We'll probably maybe try to do something tomorrow as well.
Okay.
I like that.
Thank you.
Thank you, my friend. Dr. David Holcomb, the medical director for the Office of Public Health for Region 6. Dismal numbers, folks. More eyes up when we come back. Don't go away.
Hello, Sinlaw. I'm Dr. Kelvin Spears, Chief Medical Officer of Alexandria Emergency Hospital, located at 5900 Coliseum Boulevard, next to Wendy's. Our mission at Alexandria Emergency Hospital is to provide our patients, both adults and children, with the best possible healthcare experience, with short wait times and a relaxing environment. Alexandria Emergency Hospital is open 24/7, 365. We have board-certified doctors available for expert pediatric and adult care for both inpatient and ER services. We can provide outpatient services like MRI, X-ray, ultrasound, and CT scans. We have a clinical lab and on-site pharmacy and can facilitate inpatient stays through our state-of-the-art hospital rooms. For more information about our services, you can give us a call at 318-386-8110. That's 318-386-8110. Or visit us online at www.alexandriaer.com. Again, I'm Dr. Kelvin Spears, and remember, for all your emergency needs, come see us at Alexandria Emergency Hospital, your hometown ER and hospital.
Eye-catching elegance, compelling styles, luxurious comfort. These are the features you look for in your furniture. At Trotters, it's what we're all about, and choosing your look gets easier with our design consultants Molly Hunt and Rebecca Smith. Trotters has 2 stories and over 20,000 square feet of Central Louisiana's most sought-after furniture, and it's all available with 24 months no-interest financing. Your home is your favorite place. Love it even more with new furniture, because everything's better when you get it from Trotters.
Hi, this is Bianca Brown, the Mobile Sentry Lady. Are you looking for a dream job? Well, you need to give me a call today. I'm looking for new recruits to join my team of Sentry consultants. Join Sentry today and get your starter kit for only $99 plus shipping and tax. Benefits include additional income, flexibility, incredible friendships, world-class training, recognition, personal growth, discounts on amazing Cincy products, and the opportunity to earn fabulous incentive trips around the world like the all-expense-paid trip I earned to Cancun, Mexico. Interested in joining Cincy? Give me a call today at 318-618-1832. That's 318-618-1832. Please refer to my website, lapeacefulsense.cincy.us for our income disclosure statement.
Hey y'all, spring is here and you're ready to get out and celebrate. Here's what's happening around the state. June 3rd through 5th, Bugs and Bands in Kickapoo. June 4th through 6th, Bar Lounge in Gaines. And Sicilian Heritage Festival in Independence. June 5th, the Peach Festival in Ruston and Cajun Country Jam in Gonzales. So make your plans to laissez les bon temps rouler. This is Lieutenant Governor William Gesser. Plan your road trip at LouisianaIsATrip.com.
Open with Tony Brown on FM 107.5, The Vibe, and 1110 AM, KGTP, Alexandria Pineville.
Hello everyone, I'm Tony Brown. This is your statewide news you can use on this mellow Monday. It's the 14th day of the month of June. News being brought to you by the Alexandria Emergency Room Hospital. The person accused of a shooting spree in shooting 3 people in the parking lot of the Lafayette Police Department Friday night, who was also shot at on Interstate 10 in Baton Rouge area later that night, authorities say. 22-year-old Artella Andrews was arrested in conjunction with the Lafayette shooting after an unidentified suspect opened fire on his vehicle on Friday night on I-10 in West Baton Rouge Parish, according to the Lafayette Parish Police Department. On Sunday, Lafayette police identified the 3 victims who were shot in the police department parking lot as Abram Landry, Cleveland Hamilton, and Travis Hudson. The 3 men, all of whom are 20 and from Lafayette, were in stable condition after being treated for injuries. Police also identified 3 Lafayette residents, all 19 years old, who did not suffer gunshot wounds in the shooting: Cameron Savoy, Jalen Ozan, and Jotrell Taylor. Andrews faces 6 counts of attempted first-degree murder in connection to the Lafayette shooting. Andrews was arrested in the Baton Rouge area and will be transported to Lafayette this week. A Baton Rouge Police Department car was shot at Saturday night while the officer was sitting inside. 5 Baton Rouge police officers had gone to the 700 block of Choctaw Drive to break up a group of people drag racing. A spokesman said Sunday after the cars were cleared, the officers were sitting in their vehicles when one of them heard something hit his car at about 11 p.m. The bullet had pierced the car's front fender on the driver's side, but the officer was not injured. The officers did not hear the gunshot go off. They canvassed the area soon after, but could not find out who shot at the car. This is the second time a Baton Rouge Police Department unit has been shot at in the last 30 days. On May 21st, a bullet shattered a police car's window on Bard Avenue. Among many allegations he dropped just before resigning from the Baton Rouge Police Department, Jeremiah Ardoin accused some longtime narcotics detectives of joking about the 2013 death of an unarmed black man after a violent struggle with officers. The incident, which the detectives dubbed as the Flag Street Massacre, became an inside joke, according to Ardoin, an ex-cop with first-hand knowledge of what happened that evening on Flag Street. He claims his claims about widespread misconduct within the narcotics unit, however, prompted a corruption probe that remains ongoing. Authorities and authorities said Dunce Runner Robinson died from choking on a bag of crack cocaine, which he ate right after the confrontation with police. His wife later filed a wrongful death lawsuit claiming officers beat Robinson so viciously he was unable to completely swallow the bag, which lodged in his throat. An Alexandria man has been accused of attempting to take a woman's purse in a 2200 block of MacArthur Drive on Friday. 40-year-old Clenard Earl Simmons has been charged with attempted armed robbery as a result, according to APD. APD's report says it happened around 9:30 in the morning. Simmons allegedly approached a woman and demanded her purse several times, even flashing a gun. As a threat, the report states that a witness saw this happening and pulled his vehicle between the two, which led to Simmons fleeing. Louisiana saw the lowest number of people died from COVID-19 in April and May. But in 80 other months since, the disease began tearing through the state. But despite the recent low in severe cases, health experts fear low vaccination rates make the state vulnerable to yet another spike in cases. The state has hit a wall with getting shots into arms, and the number of people being hospitalized for COVID-19 has remained fairly flat, albeit historically low for the past several weeks, according to the Department of Health figures. Meanwhile, more infectious variants of the virus are spreading in parts of the country and appear to also affect the unvaccinated far more severely than the initial version of the virus that gripped the state last year. The height of whatever future spike in cases Louisiana will experience largely depends on the number of people who are vaccinated when cases begin to rise, as they typically do with any virus. That, according to Dr. Catherine O'Neill, Chief Medical Officer at Our Lady of the Lake Regional Medical Center. It was the type of session we're used to seeing here in Louisiana. Typically, there's a lot of debate over money. It was relatively calm final day at the Capitol after a long 9-week session that spent a large amount of coronavirus money, refigured the state's tax structure, and had most all the debates on financial issues shoved aside as lawmakers found themselves arguing over social issues more than anything else. Among the social issues, lawmakers sent bills to expand the use of Louisiana's medical marijuana program and no jail time for possession of small amounts of recreational use to the governor, but they fell short of legalizing pot altogether. And if the governor agrees, beginning next year, women will no longer pay state sales taxes on feminine hygiene products or diapers. The House and Senate also agreed to continue the earned income tax credit, a tax break that helps low-income families. In the final hours of the session, lawmakers passed a bill that would prohibit government agencies from refusing to issue licenses, permits, and degrees of barring access to public facilities to someone who hasn't received the COVID-19 vaccine until any of the vaccines have been officially approved by the FDA. Bare-knuckle fights over taxes, gambling, and what schools should teach have ended with the conclusion of the 80-day legislative session. The circus has left Baton Rouge. But another way, one is on the way. When lawmakers return down the road, they will have a single focus: to redraw boundaries for the State House, the State Senate, the U.S. House of Representatives, the Louisiana Supreme Court, the Public Service Commission, the Board of Elementary and Secondary Education, and State Appeals Court. This once-in-a-decade task will have enormous consequences because the lines that lawmakers draw will shape Louisiana's legislative and judicial politics for the coming years. It's a process driven by demographic changes, state and federal law, and raw politics. Most lawmakers will emerge smiling, their political futures assured, but others will be cast out of a winnable district and feel like they've been knifed in the back. Self-interest and political survival typically trump loyalty to party and friends. Out of Lake Charles, Deidre Commons stills herself before she opens the door, telling herself not to be afraid. Tears roll down her cheeks when she begins to step inside. Her house is dim and gutted. Water marks roughly knee-high are visible on the outside walls. Containers of personal belongings in the laundry room are still soaked, including the holding ceramic angel given to her by her mother, wrapped in disposable diapers to keep them from breaking. Said the 64-year-old woman who has lived in the Greenwich Terrace neighborhood of storm-battered Lake Charles since 1978 and has endured repeated flooding in recent years. I'm mentally and emotionally drained. I'm ready to go, whether they buy it or not. Like others in the neighborhood, Carmen may soon be eligible for a voluntary buyout of her house, despite her long ties to the area and the affection for the place where she raised her 3 children. She's become exasperated and would be ready to take the money and leave. Others aren't so sure, though, but no matter their feelings on it, a common sentiment runs through the largely African-American neighborhood. The situation should never have come to this, and many believe drainage would have been improved sooner in a wealthier part of town. An outside evaluator is urging the rejection of 3 latest applicants seeking to open new charter schools in Baton Rouge, including 2 applicants recommended by a prominent charter school booster organization that has historically gotten its way on this contentious issue. The evaluator had different concerns with different schools, which combined could end up serving more than 7,000 students. She worried that they won't serve enough low-income students, don't bring anything new to the school system, or don't have a track record of academic success. In years past, the recommendations of the outside evaluator and school's chief have, with rare exception, been the same. But it's unclear if new superintendent Cito Narcisse agrees with the outside expert. A spokeswoman for the East Baton Rouge Parish School System said Narcisse has yet to offer his own recommendations, is not legally required to give one, and no school board member as yet has requested that he do so. Long before Brittany Matthews was recognized as a dream teacher, the Zachary High alum and her high school sweetheart were living the dream, attaining well-sought-after skills and returning to their beloved hometown to invest in its future. Matthews, an English teacher, has been named a finalist for the Louisiana Teacher of the Year distinction. The Matthews lived and worked in Virginia as starting professionals, but Zachary was home and soon became a destination. Zachary never became foreign to the Matthews. Both of their families were in the city, and they spent every holiday home. In the spring semester of 2017, a job in the private sector brought Matthews back to Louisiana. We wish her well. Louisiana is feeling the summer heat and did so this weekend as many cities experienced what felt like at least 100-degree weather. Current heat indices, or the feels like temperature, is what it feels like to the human body when humidity is combined with the air temperature. The National Weather Service out of New Orleans reported indices across the state as of 2 p.m. Sunday, many of which were well above 100 degrees. Several ranged from 105 to 108 degrees. A heat index of 105 was reported at the Lakefront Airport, 108 at New Orleans NAS, and 101 at Baton Rouge Metro Ryan Field. And finally, a typical disturbance in the Gulf of Mexico now has a 50% chance of developing into a depression late this week. Hurricane forecasters said in a 7 a.m. Sunday tropical outlook. It's not yet clear if the system will make a threat to Louisiana. The trough of low pressure continue to produce clouds and showers over the Bay of Campeche in the southern Gulf on Sunday. Forecasters said this trough could develop slowly over the next several days, becoming a tropical depression late in the week. The next available storm name of the hurricane season is Bill. I'm Tony Brown. That's your statewide news you can use on this Mellow Monday. Have a safe and a blessed day. Rapides Primary Health Care Center is your federally qualified community health care center and is located at 1217 Willow Glen River Road in Alexandria. They are now accepting new patients. Are you tired of spending long hours in hospital emergency rooms waiting to receive non-critical health care services? Do you need affordable medical, dental, and mental health care? Do you need quality health care for you and your baby for prenatal, during pregnancy, and up until adulthood? Do you need to sign your family up for the Affordable Care Act or Medicaid? Then look no further than Rapides Primary Health Care Center. It is the affordable, timely answer to all your family's health care needs. All services are available to anyone regardless of their ability to pay. You or your family will never be turned away. Rapides Primary is certified KidMed site with a sliding fee scale. Payment is based on income and size of family. Medicaid, Medicare, and most commercial insurance are accepted for medical services. For appointments and information on all medical services, including Obamacare and Medicaid, call 318-487-4400. That's 318-487-4400. Rapides Primary Health Care Center, a new beginning in quality health care and a proud impact partner of the Eyes Open Radio Network.
It's time for the scripture of the day. And now, the beautiful Bianca Brown.
Hi, it's Bianca Brown with your scripture of the day. Today's scripture comes from the book of Isaiah, chapter 60, verse 19. The sun shall be no more your light by day, nor for brightness shall the moon give you light, but the Lord will be your everlasting light, and your God will be your glory. Today's scripture is being brought to you by the Monroe Street Church of Christ in Alexandria, Louisiana. If you would like to learn more about how the Lord can be your glory, you can do so by contacting the church. Give the Monroe Street Church of Christ a call at 318-448-2494 and ask to speak with Minister Jesse Allen. Or you can write the Monroe Street Church of Christ at 2008 Monroe Street, Alexandria, Louisiana, 71301. As we always say, we will lift you up in prayer and in the precious name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
It's time for the Daily Bread with Tony Brown.
Measuring growth. Read Ephesians 4, verses 1 through 16. Ephesians 4, 1 through 16. Till we all come to the unity of the faith and to the measure of the stature of the fullness of Christ. Ephesians 4:13. When a high school student tried using a thermometer to measure a table, his teacher was dumbfounded. In 15 years of teaching, Dave had seen many sad and shocking situations, but even he was amazed that a student could make it to high school without knowing the difference between a ruler and a thermometer. I was just telling somebody a story yesterday when I went to vote at the Register of Voters office, that on several occasions I've gone through a drive-through and I've asked, can I get some extra napkins or some extra ketchup? And I asked them for a couple. And on at least 3 occasions, the young people did not know what a couple was or how many is in a couple. And I tried to say, well, when you talk about a couple in a relationship, how many people are there? And they look at me with this dumbfounded look. A couple is 2. And it baffles me that people who have graduated from high school working in drive-thrus don't know how many is in a couple. So when a friend told me about this story, about the thermometer and the ruler comparison, my heart broke for the student and others like him who have fallen so far behind in their education. They can't move forward because they haven't yet learned basic lessons of everyday life. But then a sobering thought came to me. Don't we sometimes do the same thing when we use wrong spiritual measuring devices? For example, do we assume that churches with the most resources, the biggest ones, with the big old ivory towers and the windows and the family centers and the family rooms and the workout rooms and the McDonald's in the lobby? I've seen that. Do we assume that those churches with those type of resources are the most blessed by God? And do we ever think that popular preachers are more godly than those with just a few loyal saints? The proper measure of our spiritual condition is the quality of our lives, which is measured by such attributes as lowliness, gentleness, and long-suffering. Ephesians 4:2. Bearing with another in love, verse 2, is a good indication that we are moving toward God's goal for us, the measure of the fullness of Christ, verse 13. Our love for God can be measured by our love for others. I'm Tony Brown, and that's today's Daily Bread.
Hey y'all, spring is here and you're ready to get out and celebrate. Here's what's happening around the state. June 3rd through 5th, Bugs and Bands in Kickapoo. June 4th through 6th, Bal Mange in Gaines and Sicilian Heritage Festival in Independence. June 5th, the Peach Festival in Ruston and Cajun Country Jam in Gonzales. So make your plans to laissez les bon temps rouler.
This is Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser. Plan your road trip at LouisianaIsATrip.com.
Hello, Sinlaw. I'm Dr. Kelvin Spears, Chief Medical Officer of Alexandria Emergency Hospital, located at 5900 Coliseum Boulevard, next to Wendy's. Our mission at Alexandria Emergency Hospital is to provide our patients, both adults and children, with the best possible healthcare experience, with short wait times and a relaxing environment. Alexandria Emergency Hospital is open 24/7, 365. We have board-certified doctors available for expert pediatric and adult care for both inpatient and ER services. We can provide outpatient services like MRI, X-ray, ultrasound, and CT scans. We have a clinical lab and on-site pharmacy and can facilitate inpatient stays through our state-of-the-art hospital rooms. For more information about our services, you can give us a call at 318-386-8110. That's 318-386-8110. Or visit us online at www.alexandriaer.com. Again, I'm Dr. Kelvin Spears, and remember, for all your emergency needs, come see us at Alexandria Emergency Hospital, your hometown ER and hospital.
47 minutes past the hour, 47 minutes past the hour right here in Premium Morning News Magazine. Let's talk about this Delta variant, which is quickly on its way to becoming the dominant strain of COVID-19 in the United States, raising concerns that outbreaks could hit vulnerable communities. Let's go to the radio.
Dr. Robert Woodfield told me in February. I am of the point of view that I still think the most likely etiology of this pathogen in Wuhan was from a laboratory, escaped.
For a lot of people, it was stunning. Not so much what was said. After all, the lab leak theory had been out there for some time, but rather that the former director of the CDC was the one saying it. Someone with access to raw data and intelligence many others didn't have.
That's the way I put it together.
After largely being dismissed by the scientists.
Yeah, I saw a different package here. That's not our fault. CNN has a way of doing that. That's a story about U.S. intelligence working on a report about COVID-19 origins. But what I want to talk about is this variant, called the Delta variant. It also originated out of India. Currently, 10% of the COVID-19 infections in the U.S. can be attributed to the variant, also called B1617.2 variant. But that proportion is doubling every 2 weeks. According to Scott Gingley, the former commissioner of the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, said in a CBS interview on Sunday. Actually, it was CBS. Google CBS and put in there Delta variant on the rise. Delta variant on the rise, CBS News. And see if you can cue that up, because that's the one that CNN actually is quoting, the CBS story. CBS, Delta variant on the rise. So he added that it probably could become the dominant strain in the country. It says here nationally, 64.4% of adults have received at least one dose of the vaccine, but some states are seeing significantly lower rates. Less than half of the adults living in Alabama, here it is, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Wyoming have received at least one dose. And we heard the startling numbers here in Louisiana just at 33%. So one out of every three adults in Louisiana have been vaccinated. 2 out of the 3, the majority, have not been. There has been a higher than expected number of cases of heart ailment among young people, most often males who recently received their second dose of the Pfizer and Moderna 19, according to the CDC. Gottlieb said that information could be due to behavior change. It could be the case that as young people get vaccinated, they're going out more. They're exchanging other viruses. We're seeing outbreaks of those viruses, and we know those viruses also cause pericarditis, Gottlieb said in a CBS interview. Gottlieb cited respiratory syncytial virus, enterovirus, echovirus, and coxsackie virus. Goodly goo, like greatest little sandwiches. Goodly goo, you know what I'm saying, man? She laughed. I mean, that made you smile, I could tell. Even with your back turned. We don't worry about that package, though. Let me go to the next reader here. Gee whiz. A judge has dismissed a lawsuit against Houston Methodist Hospital by employees who oppose a COVID-19 vaccine mandate. Did I give you a song cue? Yeah, we're going to hit that next. On Saturday, U.S. District Judge Lynn Hughes ruled against Jennifer Bridges and 116 of her fellow Houston Methodist workers who sued to block the COVID-19 vaccination requirement. Houston Methodist Hospital moved to dismiss the case. Bridges and her co-workers claimed the COVID-19 vaccines used in the U.S. were experimental and dangerous, and that it could be wrongful to be terminated for refusing to get vaccinated. The privately run Houston Methodist Hospital, much like Cabrini, privately run, saying not only were Bridges' claims untrue, but that under Texas law, workers are protected from termination only if they refuse to commit a criminal act that carries criminal penalties. Receiving a COVID-19 vaccine is not an illegal act and carries no criminal penalties. The judge agreed with Houston Methodist Hospital. Hughes admonished Bridges analogy that her threat of termination in this case was like forced medical experimentation during the Holocaust. Judge Hughes called the claim reprehensible and said Bridges was not being coerced. 52 minutes past the hour is open news time. 15 minutes past the hour is open news time. This is your MC Frosty. Radioactive. Good morning.
Stuff, and don't slay it. You got to have knowledge in this world. You might get your first snack before your eyes well. You're doing your job every day, and then you work so hard that your hair turns purple. Let me tell you, everybody has a way of spending. You gotta have enough to stay on there. Money will take your mind. You gotta be strong now and fight crime. You see me every day, and it ain't no job on the street, night, day, making daily ride. I remember the days of my way. People didn't even know what don't pay. People in this world don't know what to do. It seems like magic, also voodoo. Let's jam, radioactive. Let's jam, radioactive. Let's jam, say it's the lane, cause the Jeopardy devil who's calling the shot. What rights have I got? Why must I always be put on the spot? Must I keep it low cold so I won't be spot? It's hard to find a job in this thing, you know. Trouble on the street just can't be beat. It's hard to compete with the thugs in the heat. Cause blood, gang, baby, they the snow, the big and dope swingers. You got to have knowledge in this world. You might get your first snack before your eyes roll. You're doing your job every day, and you work so hard. You're not third people. Let me tell you, everybody, that's the way it's been. You gotta have enough to stay on way.
Rapids Primary Healthcare Center is your federally qualified community healthcare center and is located at 1217 Willow Glen River Road in Alexandria. They are now accepting new patients. Are you tired of spending long hours in hospital emergency rooms waiting to receive non-critical healthcare services? Do you need affordable medical, dental, and mental health care? Do you need quality health care for you and your baby for prenatal, during pregnancy, and up until adulthood? Do you need to sign your family up for the Affordable Care Act or Medicaid? Then look no further than Rapids Primary Healthcare Center. It is the affordable, timely answer to all your family's health care needs. All services are available to anyone regardless of their ability to pay. You or your family will never be turned away. Rapids Primary is certified kid med site with a sliding fee scale. Payment is based on income and size of family. Medicaid, Medicare, and most commercial insurance are accepted for medical services. For appointments and information on all medical services, including Obamacare and Medicaid, call 318-487-4400. That's 318-487-4400. Rapids Primary Healthcare Center, a new beginning in quality health care and a proud impact partner of the Eyes Open Radio Network.
Sweat. Saturday, June 26th at 8 p.m. Paragon Casino Resort. Tickets on sale now and start at $29 and can be purchased at Ticketmaster.com. Keep Sweat. Saturday, June 26th at 8 p.m. Paragon Casino Resort.
Hello, Sinlaw. I'm Dr. Kelvin Spears, Chief Medical Officer of Alexandria Emergency Hospital, located at 5900 Coliseum Boulevard, next to Wendy's. Our mission at Alexandria Emergency Hospital is to provide our patients, both adults and children, with the best possible healthcare experience, with short wait times and a relaxing environment. Alexandria Emergency Hospital is open 24/7, 365. We have board-certified doctors available for expert pediatric and adult care for both inpatients and ER services. We can provide outpatient services like MRI, X-ray, ultrasound, and CT scans. We have a clinical lab and on-site pharmacy and can facilitate inpatient stays through our state-of-the-art hospital room. For more information about our services, you can give us a call at 318-386-8110. That's 318-386-8110. Or visit us online at www.alexandriaer.com. Again, I'm Dr. Kelvin Spears, and remember, for all your emergency needs, come see us at Alexandria Emergency Hospital, your hometown ER and hospital.
Hi, this is Bianca Brown, the Mobile Sentry Lady. Are you looking for a dream job? Well, you need to give me a call today. I'm looking for new recruits to join my team of Sentry consultants. Join Sentry today and get your starter kit for only $99 plus shipping and tax. Benefits include additional income, flexibility, incredible friendships, world-class training, recognition, personal growth, discounts on amazing Sentry products, and the opportunity to earn fabulous incentive trips around the world like the all-expense-paid trip I earned to Cancun, Mexico. Interested in joining Sentry? Give me a call today at 318-618-1832. That's 318-618-1832. Please refer to my website, lapeacefulsense.sensi.us, for our income disclosure statement.
Eyes Open with Tony Brown on FM 107.5 The Vibe and 1110 AM KGTP Alexandria Pineville.
We're going to give you 2-day rescue. How you doing this morning? You doing okay? It's going to be a beautiful hot day. Yes, it is. Maybe a weekend too, right? Yes. You know when next Sunday is, right? Come on now.
What is it? Oh, it's a Friday?
Yeah, it's like, that's what we're all right, okay.
Put together.
Take care of me. I know you like me, you clean and stuff. That's good stuff. You know, we can breakfast, all that kind of stuff, right? Get breakfast in bed too. Shit, I can't remember anything. Breakfast in bed for me if my wife threw me Pop-Tarts. Because I get up before her, and she's not going to get up before me. But one thing I can say about her, if she gets up, and this past weekend, she got up a little early on Saturday, because she's retired, and she's earning it. So she got about 1:30, 2 o'clock when she was coming in, and said, what do you want for breakfast? Oh, the first thing I ever bought. There was no gift horse in the room. I said, she said, fill out whatever you want, I'll fix it. I said, okay, I'll do that. I went to the post office in the bank. And she hooked up. Yes, that's the kind of range that really start to do fabulous. Plus we got dating on the same bone. I thought, okay, she beat me behind. Yeah, she did. I had to pay for that. So, I don't know, with us, it's a competition, it's a friendly competition. Last weekend, last time we went, I don't know, but it was easy to win because, we had King with his cue, so we put those little bumper things so that he can, so we didn't have the bumpers this time. She beat me. She whipped my tail. Anywho, so we had a good weekend just as you did. We got all the news you can use coming up at the bottom of the hour. Top of the news this morning is the shooting. Can you hear about that Friday night here? They killed 3 people. Well, she didn't kill them, but they shot 3 people outside in the parking lot in the Latin Police Department. So it's bad. Normally when you commit a crime, especially shooting, attempted murder, or murder, you don't want to do it in a parking lot in the police station. But when you add insult to injury, not only did you shoot 3 people, as you were targeting 6, but you actually got away. You did right there in the parking lot and you got away. And they finally got the suspect, a 22-year-old Artella Andrews in Baton Rouge. That's where they found him. They identified 3 Lafayette residents who were 19 years old. These are children. 3 of them were all 19 years or younger. Cameron Saville, Jamie Ozzie, and Joshua Taylor. All young black men. Baton Rouge vehicle shot at Saturday night. Baton Rouge police vehicle shot at Saturday night. It's the second officer's vehicle that has been shot up in the last 30 days. Baton Rouge police narcotics detectives accused of joking about 2013 in custody Flag Street massacre. So here you got this guy, this Alderman, this Jeremiah Alderman. Basically, he's black, that's my understanding. Of course, he blew the whistle after he got caught with his hand in the cookie jar. And he was minor than me by comparison to some of the other guys who are killing unarmed black people and suspects. He got caught, somebody told on him, he got caught receiving stolen merchandise. He purchased stolen merchandise. But what he did pales in comparison to what some of his commanders did, or his colleagues, who were up there on the ranks, up there in the ranks rather. So that he basically disbanded the entire, telling the chief of police, basically disbanded, put all those guys who were big time supervisors back on the street, bust them down to, sergeants or below, corporal, whatever. But they got to keep their job. And many of them, were forced to retire. A few of them got fired. In this guy's case, I'll say this about African American police officers who don't say anything for decades. Not until after, they're flagged on something to where they start speaking up. By saying, they do far worse than me. And this was this particular case. He's facing charges, and his entire team facing charges. And of course, there's a big shakeup. But he came clean about this unarmed black man who was beaten to death in 2013, and how the white police officers, to this day, boast about it. 8 years after the fact, we call it the Flag Street Massacre, and they boast how they beat this. Not unlike what we've seen in the story about up there the state police beating people, he didn't feel that anymore, and that kind of stuff. But they boast about killing this kid back in 2013, who who ingested crack cocaine but wasn't able to consume the crack cocaine because they started beating him, and according to his fiance, it got caught in his throat. That didn't kill him, because it hadn't been ingested or digested. What killed him was a serious ass whooping by police. And I say that not to remove the state. But we still got a problem with racist white cops who don't like black people, who got a badge, a gun, and normally would get away with it, and have been for decades. And the state police co-signing on the murders of black people. Very rarely have I ever seen the state police actually arresting someone for beating around black people or shooting at them, with the exception of what happened about Marshall, New State Police community, corrupt son of a bitch, and got on TV. I've never seen this egregious when this man, this father used his car as a weapon, backed into the cops, and they didn't know the kid was in there. And of course, the new kid got killed, but no consequences for the man. He has a life of shame and guilt because he should have just stopped. You got the most precious posterity in the car, and you leave people in the chase? Then if you come to a corner street or dead end, you back into them, and they just do what any cop would do. You're trying to hit me with a vehicle by backing into me. And we've seen white cops lie about that and kill black people. You say that Andrew Brown case. Andrew, yeah, I don't know his brain, but I remember that case. He was using his car, but black cops just can't shoot white people. They can shoot white people, but they can't shoot white people. Not in Louisiana. Next big issue for legislature in redistricting, yeah, I said it. So what? So what from Crowley? Something not to tell the truth? We'll start to the force. Out of Lake Charles, do I sell my property or do I get out? Me, in Lake Charles, with this latest fleet, potentially can be bought out by the government. You can hit that with Q. 3 new charter schools could serve 7,000 plus Baton kids, but the evaluator says they shouldn't open. We'll tell you why. She came home exactly now. She's a dream teacher of the year candidate. Just how hot did it feel in Louisiana yesterday, over the weekend? How hot will it be this week? We got your forecast coming up. It's going to be hot, y'all. We're talking about 128 in Arizona, 125 in Vegas. Tropical disturbance in the southern Gulf now has a 50%, now 60% chances of this one developing into a tropical depression. I'll have a whole lot more coming up. This is another Monday. Phone lines are open at 318-483-9977. 318-483-9977. Good morning.
Tanisha Edwards, City News Manager for the Drum newspaper in Ponchatoula and Baton Rouge. My job is to make sure your stories get told. I make sure you know what's happening in your community. Whether that's exciting, informative, or just entertainment, your news matters at the Drum. But we can't do it all alone, and no one knows the community better than you. That's why I'm asking you to share your stories with me. At the Drum, we believe a community that is informed is a strong one. So if you've got important news, witty insight, upcoming events, or even a wedding announcement, call me at 225-927-3717 or email me news to news@thedrumnewspaper.info. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter today as we report your news.
Hello, Sinlaw. I'm Dr. Kelvin Spears, Chief Medical Officer of Alexandria Emergency Hospital, located at 5900 Coliseum Boulevard, next to Wendy's. Our mission at Alexandria Emergency Hospital is to provide our patients, both adults and children, with the best possible healthcare experience, with short wait times and a relaxing environment. Alexandria Emergency Hospital is open 24/7, 365. We have board-certified doctors available for expert pediatric and adult care for both inpatient and ER services. We can provide outpatient services like MRI, X-ray, ultrasound, and CT scans. We have a clinical lab and on-site pharmacy and can facilitate inpatient stays through our state-of-the-art hospital room. For more information about our services, you can give us a call at 318-386-8110. That's 318-386-8110. Or visit us online at www.alexandriaer.com. Again, I'm Dr. Kelvin Spears, and remember, for all your emergency needs, come see us at Alexandria Emergency Hospital, your hometown ER and hospital.
Hey y'all, spring is here and you're ready to get out and celebrate. Here's what's happening around the state. June 3rd through 5th, Bugs and Bands in Kickapoo. June 4th through 6th, Glen Lounge and Games. And Sicilian Heritage Festival in Independence. June 5th, the Peach Festival in Ruston and Cajun Country Jam in Gonzales. So make your plans to laissez le bon temps rouler.
This is Lieutenant Governor Bill Gasser.
Plan your road trip at LouisianaIsATrip.com.
Hi, this is Dolores with Robinson Family Mortuary. The COVID-19 pandemic has been devastating to our community, and we have served numerous families affected by it. Planning a funeral is difficult, but a sudden loss during this pandemic can be even more stressful. Robinson Family Mortuary can help ease your stress and serves all of Central Louisiana, including Natchitoches, Oakdale, Marksville, Leesville, Fort Polk, and most every parish in the entire state. The newly renovated Robinson Family Mortuary is located at 1815 Military Highway in Pineville, and we can be reached anytime by calling 318-442-7300. That's 318-442-7300, or visit us online at robinsonfm.com. Robinson Family Mortuary, without delay, can arrange for a traditional funeral service, cremation, ship in or ship out, including military. We accept all assignable and verifiable life insurance policies. With just one call to 318-442-7300, all of your homegoing needs can be taken care of at our newly remodeled Robinson Family Mortuary. Robinson Family Mortuary, a family serving families.
We're back right here in your premier morning news magazine, top of the morning too, on this Monday. It wasn't the type of session that got wrapped up Thursday we're accustomed to seeing here in Louisiana, since typically there's a lot of debate over money. It was relatively calm final day of the Capitol after a 9-week session and spent a large amount of coronavirus recovery money, refigured the state's tax structure, and had almost all the debates on financial issues shoved aside as lawmakers found themselves arguing over social issues more than anything else. Among the social issues, lawmakers sent bills to expand the use of Louisiana's medical marijuana program to the point where the flower is going to be introduced. The governor probably will sign it. And medicinal marijuana in the flower, which is the non-processing variety, which tends to be a lot less expensive because the tincture mechanism that they have now is really only for the affluent and the people who need the medicine the most, disproportionately older people, African Americans, aren't able to get it because it's not covered by insurance. Many of whom who want the flower, traveling right up there over to Texarkana or even Jackson, Mississippi, where medicinal medical program is way ahead in Louisiana, offering the flower. There's also the decriminalization, speaking of marijuana, of small amounts of marijuana, I think half an ounce or less, which amounts to 13 grams or so, 14 grams. I don't know particularly the incremental amount, but I know it's less than half a gram. You definitely don't want to scale when you call me a 3-year-old. You want to have it broken down into nickel or $10 bags, and they still have that, like they did in the commissioners. Juneteenth, which made a state holiday. And the Democratic, the legislative black caucus used their black power to remove the House of Representative Education Committee chair, who made a verbal snafu, saying the good, the bad, and the ugly, as it pertains to slavery. When you add that to African American history being added as a requirement to receive the Taylor Opportunity Program's top scholarship program, despite the fact that most of that money, I've said 70 to 80% is going to middle-class white people. Not its original purpose, but once you get a mass of cheese, it's hard to get that cheese, to move that cheese back. So we just have to deal with it and come up with it. And I think they came up with something else, some sort of thing. But I want to go live up there to Shreveport, Louisiana, fresh out of course, the legislative session. My state representative for the Shreveport area, distinguished gentleman, Democrat, and the chair of the House side of the Louisiana Democratic Caucus, my good friend Sam Jenkins. Always a pleasure, and welcome back to Eyes Open.
Hey, good morning, Charlie. It's good to be with you. Good morning to everyone that's listening in. Good to be with you this morning.
All right, let's talk about what they did in the final hours, so to speak, of the legislative session that's going to have a disproportionate impact on African Americans, or poor people, basically doing like some 25 other Republican government-controlled states that have denied or basically stamped out the federal portion of the unemployment that was so crucial during the pandemic. That came up at the very last minute. Didn't seem like a surprise to Republicans, but did they catch the Democrats off guard here?
Not necessarily. That was an agreement made by the state labor leaders along with the business industry. Let's make sure everybody understands what happened here. Louisiana has one of the lowest state weekly benefits in the nation, around $247 a week. And then, because of the pandemic, the federal government came in and added an additional $300 a week. Now, that $300 federal supplement was designed to come off sometime this year in August or September,
yes,
when children would return to school and give parents a little more flexibility to return to work.
Mm-hmm.
I believe what the labor leaders were trying to do was to agree to let the federal supplement in, and in January, let's increase permanently the amount we pay as a state benefit. I think that's what the trade-off was.
Well, I think I agree with you on that, but it looks like the governor said that was a good compromise, at least according to the language that I heard him speak at the wrap-up of his press briefing on Thursday. So they had worked this out in the back door somewhere, but it was the first time that
the hundreds of thousands of Louisianians who depend on that unemployment what you hear is that basically their unemployment is going to be cut by more than half now at the end of January as opposed to the end of September.
And I agree. Hopefully that it doesn't present significant hardships. We're hoping that the economy will allow people to return to work. A lot of businesses are reopening. But I think what the labor leaders were looking at, and it brought me some pain too, but I believe what the labor leaders were looking at is that there needs to be an increase in the state pay because that federal supplement is not designed to last forever.
That's right.
If people are out of work, they need to depend upon a good state benefit going forward, and I believe that's what the trade-off was.
I agree, but to mitigate the whole situation of people being on unemployment is for Louisiana to get in the game of increasing the minimum wage to a livable wage. Isn't that the real issue, Sam?
That's a real issue, and unfortunately, the will of the legislature right now just simply has not been for increasing the minimum wage. There's a strong lobby that's against it. Most of the bills that have come forward have not been able to make it out of committee, but we will continue to fight it all for the need for minimum wage increase, also for equal pay for women who are in the workforce. And many of the issues like that will help people come out of poverty. We can continue to have a lot of philosophy on these issues, but the reality is, if someone is working on the job, they should be able to make ends meet, and we're not able to do that in this state at this time without increasing our minimum wage.
I see here in the final hours of the session, lawmakers also passed a bill that would prohibit government agencies from refusing to issue licenses, permits, and degrees or barring access to public facilities to someone who hasn't received the COVID-19 vaccine. Because Louisiana has one of the lowest vaccination rates in the country. We have at least 15 states that haven't achieved at least 50% of COVID vaccine in adults. Louisiana is at about 33%, far shy from, of course, President Joe Biden's goal of getting 70%, almost to herd immunity, at least one shot in the adult by July the 4th. How do we mitigate that? Because in Louisiana, I know in some places they're offering some program where you get a free soda at a restaurant or a free beer or a drink at a bar. But when you see the vaccinations taking place in other states that they'll put, cash in Washington State, they're doing, marijuana, cigarettes for shots, and other places which that hasn't really gone out too well, but when they offer money, cash, you have people winning $1 million for $100,000. We've seen those numbers rise up. It's unfortunate, saying we have to agree that we have to pay people to choose a vaccine that has been shown scientifically to increase the quality of life and prevent them from dying from COVID-19, but still overwhelmingly in these southern states, particularly in these red controlled states, particularly white people over the age of 50, even a lot of nurses and medical professionals are not going to take the shot, and we feel that any mandate requiring them to do so is violating their civil rights.
I think at this time we're still not looking at a mandate. We're still trying to encourage people to take the vaccine. We see the COVID numbers are going down since the vaccine has been on the scene. So all we can really do is encourage people to do it. I know some employers are doing some things to incentivize their employees to take the vaccine. I'm not hearing that the state is going to get into any kind of cash and vaccine type exchange or anything along those lines. But right now, there's still a strong push to publicize the vaccine and make it available to as many people as possible, to continue to encourage employers as well as state institutions to have people to take the vaccine. I think that's where we are with it right now. And as you said, I think the proof is important. Ever since the vaccine was developed and put out there, we're not seeing the level of deaths Tony, that we were seeing people were dying every day from this dreaded disease. That's not incentive enough. I don't know what else it's going to take. I have taken the vaccine. My wife is taking the vaccine. I have not had any kind of complications from it. And I would encourage people to roll up their sleeves, take the vaccine, and protect yourself. Even now, do not think that COVID is completely gone away. You still need to take safety measures, especially if you're into large crowds. I mean, you have a lot of people kind of resume some normalcy, but you still need to take measures to protect yourself.
Absolutely. As I said, it was good to see you and your lovely wife up at the Bayou Classic up there in Shreveport, your hometown, after I've taken the vaccine, and myself included. So it was great just to get out. If you want to wear a mask, of course, those were, encouraged to do so even with the vaccine. So it was good seeing you guys up there last time I saw you and your lovely wife up there. Let's talk about something I know that was near and dear to your heart. Let's talk about decriminalizing marijuana possession. We know about mass incarceration. We know how it has devastated my communities by taking black men specifically, targeting them for prison and for jail, and simply saying, the state can't continue to lock people up for non-violent offenses like marijuana. If you got an ailment, you can get a legal prescription to walk into a pharmacy and get the stuff. So, while on one hand we have decriminalized it in some aspects to have a very a medical medicinal marijuana program that now we even offer the flower, and on the other hand, we find people who may be self-medicating for whatever reason, like maybe recreational use for small amounts, still paying $300 fine and going to jail for up to 15 days. It's an oxymoron. It doesn't make any sense.
You're absolutely right. First of all, we're very happy about the medicinal marijuana program. Now that the raw marijuana and flower is going to be there, it can become much more affordable to people. And there's a whole lot, more uses with the flower as opposed to the present way that we have to put it into a pill or some kind of liquid formula for people to take. So I'm encouraged to see that program continue to grow and to develop. Now what we did, and what I hope we had done, was decriminalize the possession of marijuana altogether. And we had bills that could have done that. We had bills that sort of could have also had the recreational marijuana available, but those bills did not make it out. What we did do was decriminalize the possession of marijuana. If you got 14 grams or less, rather than an arrest and jail time, it's going to simply be a fine of $100, and you can just simply be issued a summons for it. It is a step in the right direction.
It is.
But I think other steps need to be made. There are too many people whose lives have simply been wrecked behind possessing small amounts of marijuana for their personal use. I'm not advocating that people, do that, but I do know this, and we said that we cannot continue to give people criminal records, jail records. We cannot continue to put people in jail behind small amounts of marijuana in their possession for their personal use. And I just hope that the state, based upon the debates we had this session, we begin to take further steps to decriminalize marijuana altogether.
One other thing that I'm proud of, not only you guys using the power that we gave you our voice, and I call it black power, but the legislative black caucus really standing up and what I would amount to a filibuster of the tax legislation that the reason certainly needed, but to say we're not going to participate in the vote until we get rid of this guy that has some race issues. He needs to take a sensitivity class. I remember being down there a couple of weeks. I saw him walking down the hall. But y'all stuck together and use the black power that we have bestowed upon y'all to get not only that done, but many other things that many people thought couldn't be achieved this session.
That's true. I'm a very proud member of the Louisiana Legislative Black Caucus, and in the wake of the issue with the critical race theory and the way that grew up, totally disrupted in the legislature, I'm proud of the fact that we were able to come together, reach out to the Speaker and the leadership of the House to address what was said by the chairman of our Education Committee. I do not want to demonize him, but I am saying those words, as you know, echoed around the nation, and I think, it ended up we're in a situation where we could not have a chairman of our education committee that impacts educating the children of the state making statements like the one that he made is unfortunately very big, but I think we came together and did some things to make sure that that was not something that we were just going to sit down on and not have some response. In addition to that, the Black Caucus, as well as the Democratic Caucus working together, did a lot to try to fight off a lot of the voter suppression bills that were coming through. I'm happy that we were able to add an additional 4 days to early voting for presidential elections.
Okay.
We were able to add additional time that someone could be in the voting machine, especially when you have a very long ballot, ballots that have a lot of constitutional amendments on it. So, and we were able to fight off a lot of other voter suppression bills that were trying to move to the Louisiana legislature as well as the other state legislature. So there was a lot that we worked on to do. As we look forward now to celebrating Juneteenth, we have now made that a state holiday. I believe that was a significant achievement. I was happy to carry a bill and hope that we can spend some time on another show.
Absolutely.
We have so many people who have caught a felony conviction out there, Tony, who believe that they cannot vote. And we need to really let people know that because you have a felony conviction, that does not disenfranchise you from voting. I carry the bill to make it clear that if you have a felony conviction and one was not incarcerated for it, your right to vote has not been suspended. Even if you have been incarcerated, after you're released 5 years later, you could also be reinstated to vote. Tens of thousands of people are out there now feeling that they're disenfranchised because they really don't have a good understanding of the fact that a felony conviction does not stop you from being able to vote in state or federal elections, and that's something we need to get out to people so they can go ahead and make sure that they can participate in the political process.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. I think certainly with the leadership of Ted James and the Legislative Black Caucus that you guys would maybe raise some resources to put the information out specifically on black media, whether it's a newspaper, and do an advertising campaign to that effect, because it's really not in the interest of Republicans and the white power structure to inform people who've never felt in the West that they still have a legal right to vote. It's not in their interest. They're not gonna balk on the issue. But if we can get with your help, get Ted to raise some resources and do your own advertising campaign, and not only that, hit the street, door knocking, all of that, because this is going to be very important. Next session, you guys can be dealing with changing the political lines, so to speak, not only the House, the Senate, but you talk about the Bessie board when redistricting occurs. I think that should be something that should be at forefront, and it should be at the utmost of the Legislative Black Caucus agenda.
Yeah, we're definitely looking at redistricting. We believe we will have a special session just on redistricting. We will be going around the state. I sit on that committee, House and Government Affairs. We will be going around the state, listening to different parts of the state to hear what people have to say about it. But you're absolutely right, Tony. That is going to be a very, very important redistricting session that we're going to have. It'll set the lines for the next 10 years, and we want to make sure that we do nothing to reduce minority representation or Democrat representation in the legislature. We also want to make certain that we can make some of the districts a little bit more moderate, where more candidates can participate, and we don't have such a polarized body of elected officials coming out of this process.
Well, absolutely, I agree. Some people are going to lose. Most of the people are going to be okay and win with it, but some people are going to lose, and you know how that goes. I was also, before I let you go, Representative, I was also extremely, really shocked that kindergarten was not a requirement in the state of Louisiana, a mandate for our children to finish kindergarten before they go into the next level, first grade or what have you. This was very important. We talked to Senator Clearfields, who came out of the legislation. We've also talked to Ted James as well. So how important is this going to be, specifically in the African American community, when it talks to our posterity, when we look at the high dropout rate connected to the
this incarceration rate because a lot of children just aren't getting it, even in those formative years. So getting a year's jump in the classroom as a kindergarten should hopefully mitigate some of our problems down the line when it comes to lack of education, even meeting the TOPS requirement in the African American community, which has been dismal for the last 2 decades or more.
This is a step in the right direction. You know, there's been a strong focus on early childhood education, and now with kindergarten being mandatory, you know, to try to have children prepared to go through grade school is extremely important. Those are the formative years, and this will certainly help because, you know, prior to this, you have some children who may be getting some formalized education, but you have many who are not. Now, we can try to get everybody on the same playing field, make sure that they're exposed to the educational process. And like I said, these are the formative years, and I support that bill and believe that we're going to get some very good results from that. I know there are many who feel like that's too long, but a good education needs to start as early as possible. All statistics are showing that, and I'm glad to know that Louisiana is going in that direction.
Well, I appreciate you for your time, sir. Thank you for being just upfront and transparent with us and giving us access to yourself, and for, of course, answering every last question I was able to ask you this morning.
Well, again, thank you, Tommy. We appreciate you. Appreciate you getting information out to the community, so please keep up the good work.
God bless you, son. You take care. Tell your lovely wife I said hello.
Thank you, my friend. Take care.
All right. That's our representative, Senator Jenkins, and distinguished gentleman on the street court, Louisiana, also chair of the House side of the Louisiana Democratic Caucus. Wise open when we come back. Don't go away.
With Tony Brown on FM 107.5, The Vibe, and 1110 AM, KGTP, Alexandria, Pineville.
Hello everyone, I'm Tony Brown. This is your statewide news you can use on this mellow Monday. It's the 14th day of the month of June. News being brought to you by the Alexandria Emergency Room Hospital. The person accused of a shooting spree in shooting 3 people in the parking lot of the Lafayette Police Department Friday night, who was also shot at on Interstate 10 in Baton Rouge area later that night, authorities say. 22-year-old Artella Andrews was arrested in conjunction with the Lafayette shooting after an unidentified suspect opened fire on his vehicle on Friday night on I-10 in West Baton Rouge Parish, according to the Lafayette Parish Police Department. On Sunday, Lafayette police identified the 3 victims who were shot in the police department parking lot as Abram Landry, Cleveland Hamilton, and Travis Hudson. The 3 men, all of whom are 20 and from Lafayette, were in stable condition after being treated for injuries. Police also identified 3 Lafayette residents, all 19 years old, who did not suffer gunshot wounds in the shooting: Cameron Savoy, Jalen Ozan, and Jotrell Taylor. Andrews faces 6 counts of attempted first-degree murder in connection to the Lafayette shooting. Andrews was arrested in the Baton Rouge area and will be transported to Lafayette this week. A Baton Rouge Police Department car was shot at Saturday night while the officer was sitting inside. 5 Baton Rouge police officers had gone to the 700 block of Choctaw Drive to break up a group of people drag racing. A spokesman said Sunday after the cars were cleared, the officers were sitting in their vehicles when one of them heard something hit his car at about 11 p.m. The bullet had pierced the car's front fender on the driver's side, but the officer was not injured. The officers did not hear the gunshot go off. They canvassed the area soon after, but could not find out who shot at the car. This is the second time a Baton Rouge Police Department unit has been shot at in the last 30 days. On May 21st, a bullet shattered a police car's window on Bard Avenue. Among many allegations he dropped just before resigning from the Baton Rouge Police Department, Jeremiah Ardoin accused some longtime narcotics detectives of joking about the 2013 death of an unarmed black man after a violent struggle with officers. The incident, which the detectives dubbed as the Flag Street Massacre, became an inside joke, according to Ardoin, ex-cop, with first-hand knowledge of what happened that evening on Flag Street. He claims his claims about widespread misconduct within the narcotics unit, however, prompted a corruption probe that remains ongoing. Authorities and Duntrunner Robinson
Well, authorities said Dr. Leonard Robinson died from choking on a bag of crack cocaine, which he ate right after the confrontation with police. His wife later filed a wrongful death lawsuit claiming officers beat Robinson so viciously he was unable to completely swallow the bag, which lodged in his throat. An Alexandria man has been accused of attempting to take a woman's purse in a 2200 block of MacArthur Drive on Friday. 40-year-old Clenard Earl Simmons has been charged with attempted armed robbery as a result, according to APD. APD's report says it happened around 9:30 in the morning. Simmons allegedly approached a woman and demanded her purse several times, even flashing a gun. As a threat, the report states that a witness saw this happening and pulled his vehicle between the two, which led to Simmons fleeing. Louisiana saw the lowest number of people died from COVID-19 in April and May, but in 80 other months since the disease began tearing through the state. But despite the recent low in severe cases, health experts fear low vaccination rates make the state vulnerable to yet another spike in cases. The state has hit a wall with getting shots into arms, and the number of people being hospitalized for COVID-19 has remained fairly flat, albeit historically low for the past several weeks, according to the Department of Health figures. Meanwhile, more infectious variants of the virus are spreading in parts of the country and appear to also affect the unvaccinated far more severely than the initial version of the virus that gripped the state last year. The height of whatever future spike in cases Louisiana will experience largely depends on the number of people who are vaccinated when cases begin to rise, as they typically do with any virus. That, according to Dr. Catherine O'Neill, Chief Medical Officer at Our Lady of the Lake Regional Medical Center. It was the type of session we are used to seeing here in Louisiana. Typically, there's a lot of debate over money. It was a relatively calm final day at the Capitol after a long 9-week session that spent a large amount of coronavirus money, refigured the state's tax structure, and had most all the debates on financial issues shoved aside as lawmakers found themselves arguing over social issues more than anything else. Among the social issues, lawmakers sent bills to expand the use of Louisiana's medical marijuana program and no jail time for possession of small amounts of recreational use to the governor, but they fell short of legalizing pot altogether. And if the governor agrees, beginning next year, women will no longer pay state sales taxes on feminine hygiene products or diapers. The House and Senate also agreed to continue the earned income tax credit, a tax break that helps low-income families. In the final hours of the session, lawmakers passed a bill that would prohibit government agencies from refusing to issue licenses, permits, and degrees of barring access to public facilities to someone who hasn't received the COVID-19 vaccine until any of the vaccines have been officially approved by the FDA. Bare-knuckle fights over taxes, gambling, and what schools should teach have ended with the conclusion of the 80-day legislative session. The circus has left Baton Rouge. But another way, one is on the way. When lawmakers return down the road, they will have a single focus: to redraw boundaries for the State House, the State Senate, the U.S. House of Representatives, the Louisiana Supreme Court, the Public Service Commission, the Board of Elementary and Secondary Education, and State Appeals Court. This once-in-a-decade task will have enormous consequences because the lines the lawmakers draw will shape Louisiana's legislative and judicial politics for the coming years. It's a process driven by demographic changes, state and federal law, and, policies. Most lawmakers will emerge smiling, their political futures assured, but others will be cast out of a winnable district and feel like they've been knifed in the back. Self-interest and political survival typically trump loyalty to party and friends. Out of Lake Charles, Deidre Carmen steels herself before she opens the door, telling herself not to be afraid. Tears roll down her cheeks when she begins to step inside. Her house is dim and gutted. Watermarks roughly knee-high are visible on the outside walls. Containers of personal belongings in the laundry room are still soaked, including the holding ceramic angel given to her by her mother, wrapped in disposable diapers to keep them from breaking. Said the 64-year-old woman who has lived in the Greenwich Terrace neighborhood of Stone Bottle, Lake Charles since 1978 and has endured repeated flooding in recent years. I'm mentally and emotionally drained. I'm ready to go, whether they buy it or not. Like others in the neighborhood, Coleman may soon be eligible for a voluntary buyout of her house, despite her long ties to the area and the affection for the place where she raised her 3 children. She's become exasperated and would be ready to take the money and leave. Others aren't so sure, though, but no matter their feelings on it, A common sentiment runs through the largely African-American neighborhood. The situation should never have come to this, and many believe drainage would have been improved sooner in the wealthier part of town. An outside evaluator is urging the rejection of 3 latest applicants, seeking to open new charter schools in Baton Rouge, including 2 applicants recommended by a prominent charter school booster organization that has historically gotten its way on this contentious issue. The evaluator had different concerns with different schools, which combined could end up serving more than 7,000 students. She worried that they won't serve enough low-income students, don't bring anything new to the school system, or don't have a track record of academic success. In years past, the recommendations of the outside evaluator and school's chief have, with rare exception, been the same. But it's unclear if new Superintendent Cito Narcisse agrees with the outside expert. A spokesman for the East Baton Rouge Parish School System said Narcisse has yet to offer his own recommendations, is not legally required to give one, and no school board member as yet has requested that he do so. Long before Brittany Matthews was recognized as a dream teacher to Zachary High alone, and her high school sweetheart were living the dream, attaining well-sought-after skills and returning to their beloved hometown to invest in its future. Matthews, an English teacher, has been named a finalist for the Louisiana Teacher of the Year distinction. The Matthews lived and worked in Virginia as starting professionals, but Zachary was home and soon became a destination. Zachary never became friends with the Matthews. Both of their families were in the city, and they spent every holiday home. In the spring semester of 2017, a job in the private sector brought Matthews back to Louisiana. We wish her well. Louisiana is feeling the summer heat, and this weekend, as many cities experience what felt like at least 100-degree weather. Current heat indices are the feels-like temperature is what it feels like to the human body when humidity is combined with the air temperature. The National Weather Service out of New Orleans reported indices across the state as of 2 p.m. Sunday, many of which were well above 100 degrees. Several ranged from 105 to 108 degrees. A heat index, heat indice of 105 was reported at the Lakefront Airport, 108 at New Orleans NAS, and 101 at Baton Rouge Metro Ryan Field. And finally, a typical disturbance in the Gulf of Mexico now has a 50% chance of developing into a depression late this week. Hurricane forecasters said in a 7 a.m. Sunday tropical outlook. It's not yet clear the system will make a threat to Louisiana. The trough of low pressure continued to produce clouds and showers over the Bay of Campeche in the southern Gulf on Sunday. Forecasters said this trough could develop slowly over the next several days, becoming a tropical depression late in the week. The next available storm lane of the hurricane season is Bill. I'm Tony Brown. That's your statewide news you can use on this Monday. Have a safe and a blessed day.
Rapides Primary Healthcare Center is your federally qualified community health care center and is located at 1217 Willow Glen River Road in Alexandria. They are now accepting new patients. Are you tired of spending long hours in hospital emergency rooms waiting to receive non-critical health care services? Do you need affordable medical, dental, and mental health care? Do you need quality health care for you and your baby for prenatal, during pregnancy, and up until adulthood? Do you need to sign your family up for the Affordable Care Act on Medicaid? Then look no further than Rapides Primary Health Care Center. It is the affordable, timely answer to all your family's health care needs. All services are available to anyone regardless of their ability to pay. You or your family will never be turned away. Rapides Primary is certified kid med site with a sliding fee scale. Payment is based on income and size of family. Medicaid, Medicare, and most commercial insurance are accepted for medical services. For appointments and information on all medical services, including Obamacare and Medicaid, call 318-487-4400. That's 318-487-4400. Rapides Primary Healthcare Center, a new beginning in quality health care and a proud impact partner of the Eyes Open Radio Network.
Time for the scripture of the day. And now, the beautiful Bianca Brown.
Hi, it's Bianca Brown with your scripture of the day. Today's scripture comes from the book of Isaiah, chapter 60, verse 19. The sun shall be no more your light by day, nor for brightness shall the moon give you light, but the Lord will be your everlasting light, and your God will be your glory. Today's scripture is being brought to you by the Monroe Street Church of Christ in Alexandria, Louisiana. If you would like to learn more about how the Lord can be your glory, you can do so by contacting the church. Give the Monroe Street Church of Christ a call at 318-448-2494 and ask to speak with Minister Jesse Allen. Or you can write the Monroe Street Church of Christ at 2008 Monroe Street, Alexandria, Louisiana, 71301. As we always say, we will lift you up in prayer and in the precious name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
It's time for the Daily Bread with Tony Brown.
Measuring growth. Read Ephesians 4, verses 1 through 16. Ephesians 4, 1 through 16. Till we all come to the unity of the faith and to the measure of the stature of the fullness of Christ, Ephesians 4:13. When a high school student tried using a thermometer to measure a table, his teacher was dumbfounded. In 15 years of teaching, Dave had seen many sad and shocking situations, but even he was amazed that a student could make it to high school without knowing the difference between a ruler and a thermometer. I was just telling somebody a story yesterday when I went to vote at the Register of Voters office, that on several occasions I've gone through a drive-thru and I've asked, can I get some extra napkins or some extra ketchup? And I asked them for a couple. And on at least 3 occasions, the young people did not know what a couple was or how many is in a couple. And I tried to say, well, when you talk about a couple in a relationship, how many people are there? And they look at me with this dumbfounded look. A couple is 2. And it baffles me that people who have graduated from high school working in drive-thrus don't know how many is in a couple. So when a friend told me about this story, about the thermometer and the ruler comparison, my heart broke for the student and others like him who have fallen so far behind in their education. They can't move forward because they haven't yet learned basic lessons of everyday life. But then a sobering thought came to me. Don't we sometimes do the same thing when we use wrong spiritual measuring devices? For example, do we assume that churches with the most resources, the biggest ones, with the big old ivory towers and the windows and the family centers and the family rooms and the workout rooms and the McDonald's in the lobby? I've seen that. Do we assume that those churches with those type of resources are the most blessed by God? And do we ever think that popular preachers are more godly than those with just a few loyal saints? The proper measure of our spiritual condition is the quality of our lives, which is measured by such attributes as lowliness, gentleness, and long-suffering. Ephesians 4:2. Bearing with another in love, verse 2, is a good indication that we are moving toward God's goal for us, the measure of the fullness of Christ, verse 13. Our love for God can be measured by our love for others. I'm Tony Brown, and that's today's Daily Bread.
Hey y'all, spring is here and you're waiting to get out and celebrate. Here's what's happening around the state. June 3rd through 5th, Bugs and Bands in Kickapoo. June 4th through 6th, Fun Knowledge and Games and Sicilian Heritage Festival in Independence. June 5th, the Peach Festival in Ruston and Cajun Country Jam in Gonzales. So make your plans to Lazy Le Monto Road. This is Lieutenant Governor Bill Gasser. Plan your road trip at LouisianaIsATrip.com.
Okay, we're back right here in your premier morning news magazine. Let's go down south to meteorologist Alex Donato with the National Weather Service out of Lake Charles for the very latest. Hey, Alex, how you doing today?
Hi, good.
Man, it was hot over the weekend, and it's my understanding, according to the weather report that I'm seeing nationally, we're talking about a possible record heat temperatures in places like Nevada, Arizona. I mean, temperatures I've never even heard of speaking out of my mouth. 125, 128. Is that crazy or what?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, so what part of that are we going to see here in Louisiana? As I saw many places this past weekend in Louisiana reach 100 plus temperatures.
Yeah, so we are looking at highs today and tomorrow in the mid-90s throughout central Louisiana. We don't have that onshore flow, and as a result, we're going to be getting, lower humidity, which is allowing those temperatures to rise. Heat index values could be as high as 106, and we are expecting a possible chance of showers and thunderstorms as well.
So it's still going to be that hot or higher temperatures, even with maybe a little water or precipitation cooling this off?
Yeah. So if storms do occur, that would bring down temperatures, but otherwise we're looking at partly cloudy skies, and those temperatures are going to rise.
Now, there's a tropical disturbance in the southern Gulf of Mexico right now. What's the chances of it developing into something even worse?
Yeah, so the National Hurricane Center recently put out their 8 a.m. tropical weather outlook, and there's currently a 60% chance of this disturbance forming and heading toward the northern Gulf. So there is a chance that, we could be getting a tropical system by the weekend.
By this coming weekend, of course, if that develops with that warm water, which it more likely will, it could turn into the next named storm, which would be Hurricane Bill. Am I right in saying that, Alex?
Yeah, it is possible that it could become the next tropical system.
Okay, that's not ours. We'll hope it doesn't happen, and we'll hope that people, take the necessary precautions with these heat indices upwards of 100 degrees. Certainly, if you don't have to be outside during the warmest part of the day, 11 a.m., I'll say to 3 p.m., don't do it. If you have elderly people and loved ones, you definitely want to make sure that they're not out doing something foolish like trying to mow the lawn at high noon. Many people, I've seen them do that, get into trouble with heat stroke. So let's just make sure that we take care of each other. Thanks a lot, Alice. We appreciate the forecast.
Yeah, sure, not a problem.
All right, Alice Donato, meteorologist with the National Weather Service out of Lake Charles. It's going to be hot all week, folks, so again, check on those loved ones and tell them to stay indoors, if at all possible.
Hello, Sinlaw. I'm Dr. Kelvin Spears, Chief Medical Officer of Alexandria Emergency Hospital, located at 5900 Coliseum Boulevard, next to Wendy's. Our mission at Alexandria Emergency Hospital is to provide our patients, both adults and children, with the best possible healthcare experience, with short wait times and a relaxing environment. Alexandria Emergency Hospital is open 24/7, 365. We have board-certified doctors available for expert pediatric and adult care for both inpatient and ER services. We can provide outpatient services like MRI, X-ray, ultrasound, and CT scans. We have a clinical lab and on-site pharmacy and can facilitate inpatient stays through our state-of-the-art hospital rooms. For more information about our services, you can give us a call at 318-386-8110. That's 318-386-8110. Or visit us online at www.alexandriaer.com. Again, I'm Dr. Kelvin Spears, and remember, for all your emergency needs, come see us at Alexandria Emergency Hospital, your hometown ER and hospital.
Thanks for tuning into On Somebody with Tony Brown. The show airs daily, Monday through Friday, from 6 a.m. until 9 a.m. right here on the new KTTP 1110 a.m. Alexandria, Pineville. You can also listen live on our website at www.thenew WKTTP.com to contact Mr. Brown or to report a concern in your community. Or maybe you would like to advertise on the Eyes Open Radio Network. Please do so via email at eyesopentbrown@yahoo.com or by mail at Eyes Open Productions LLC, P.O. Box 14667, Alexandria, Louisiana 71315. The views expressed on this program are not those of this station or its affiliates and are the opinions of the people who choose to participate in this forum.
I just wanna take this chance to open my mouth and say thank you. Open my mouth and say thank you, Lord. Yeah, for every good thing in my life, good thing in my life. I gotta say thank you. Grateful, I gotta say thank you. Look here now, I wanna thank you for all that you've done. I wanna thank you for giving your son. I wanna thank you. 'Cause Lord, you're the one. I wanna thank you. I wanna thank you for all that you've done. I wanna thank you for giving your son. I wanna thank you. 'Cause Lord, you're the one. I wanna thank you. Just wanna say thank you. I just wanna take this chance. Take this chance. Say thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I just wanna say thank you for every good thing in my life you've done for me. I gotta say thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Listen to me. I wanna thank you for all that you've done. I wanna thank you for giving your son. I wanna thank you. 'Cause Lord, you're the one. I wanna thank you. For all that you've done. I wanna thank you for giving your son. I wanna thank you. Lord, you're the one. I wanna thank you. He's the one to give you what you need. It's Tracy Morgan. Got us all just for you, and we're to help pull you through. It's Tracy Morgan. Tracy Morgan, yeah. Turn my radio on, and I'm tuning to my favorite station. Tracy Morgan is on the air. Moments of inspiration. Backstage pass just for you. Celebrity guests and interviews. Tracy is the one to give you what you need. Push-ups on down the day, just to start you on your way. Nobody does it better than Tracy. Yeah, that's what years and love for. Broadcast it all day in the key. Yes, Tracy Morgan. To give you what you need. It's Tracy Morgan. Got a song just for you. Got a song for you. It's Tracy Morgan. Tracy Morgan.
And welcome to the Tracy Morgan Show. I'm Tracy. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope your day is going well. Coming up, some of your favorite gospel music. You can also check in with me at 888-474-9999.